These are three young pigs, soft and terribly naive about the creeping dangers of the dark woods.
Look to the east,
Leaving their
brothers.
mother's quiet farm would soon put them in the hunting grounds of a ravenous beast. Could a hastily built shelter truly protect them from a predator's terrible hunger? Follow their winding path into the forest and see what happens when laziness meets genuine peril. The old mother pig gathered her sons together on a crisp autumn morning. Resources had grown terribly scarce around the small family farm. She explained the harsh truth of their poverty, gently instructing her children to seek their own fortunes out in the wide world. Her parting advice was to build strong homes and remain ever watchful for the big, bad wolf. The eldest brother set out down a dusty dirt road with a careless swagger. A brief walk brought him face to face with a tired farmer pulling a massive cart of golden straw. The lazy pig requested the bundle so he might quickly construct a home without much physical effort. Relieved to lighten his heavy load, the grateful farmer gladly handed over the materials. Building the rustic dwelling took only a few short hours of tying loose grass together under the warm afternoon sun. He spent the remainder of the peaceful evening resting inside his flimsy yellow walls, perfectly content with his minimal labor. Twilight brought a creeping winter chill to the meadow, and along with it came a towering shadow. The starving wolf approached the newly built straw house with silent, heavy
think you
steps.
can hide from me?
He smelled the fresh meat waiting just behind the woven grass door. Tapping on the frail doorframe, the monster requested immediate entry. The terrified brother firmly refused, swearing by the hair of his chinny chin to keep the latch secured forever. A low, menacing rumble echoed from the beast's dark chest. He warned of a terrible impending storm, promising to huff and to puff and to blow the structure entirely apart. Taking a massive breath, the dark creature inhaled until his chest swelled like an overgrown balloon. A violent gale erupted from his dark jaws, tearing through the quiet meadow with terrifying force. The golden straw scattered violently across the open field, leaving the panicked brother completely exposed to the elements. There was nowhere left to run. The sudden hunt was entirely over. The ravenous beast simply opened his massive mouth and claimed his easy prize, leaving nothing behind but scattered yellow stalks. Meanwhile, the middle brother wandered much deeper into the damp, shadowed forest. This young pig was slightly more ambitious than his older sibling, but he still deeply desired a fast solution to his housing problem. An old woodcutter carrying an impossibly massive load of thick sticks soon crossed his lonely path. The weary traveler begged the rugged man for the heavy timber. After securing the rough branches, the pig hastily arranged them into a crooked wooden cabin beneath a canopy of pine trees. It offered a bit more reliable shelter against the howling northern wind. He barred the heavy wooden door and fell fast asleep on a pile of dried autumn leaves. Hunger still burned intensely within the belly of the roaming predator. The gray creature followed the fresh scent of the second brother right up to the uneven wooden steps. Scraping his razor-sharp claws against the bark, the beast demanded immediate access to the dark interior. Inside the cabin, the trembling animal swore by the hair of his chinny chin chin to forever deny the wicked request. The massive wolf merely laughed, a terrible, raspy laugh that shook the surrounding pines. He loudly declared his cruel intention to huff and puff and blow the fragile structure completely apart. The unnatural wind that followed his breath was even more devastating than before. Snapping wood and loudly breaking twigs instantly filled the quiet forest air. The entire cabin swiftly collapsed into a terrible heap of splintered ruin. Thick clouds of dust plumed violently into the cold night sky. The middle brother frantically tried to crawl away through the heavy wreckage.
Please, get me out!
His desperate escape was abruptly cut short as the towering shadow engulfed him entirely. The cruel beast enjoyed his second meal beneath the pale glow of the moonlight. Farther down the winding river valley, the youngest brother proved to be entirely different from his careless family. He deeply understood the harsh, unforgiving reality of the wild. Encountering a master stonemason with a heavy cart full of baked bricks, the sensible pig quickly purchased the entire sturdy load. The resulting construction work was incredibly punishing for the small animal. He mixed thick, wet mortar, laid a perfectly solid foundation, and stacked the crimson blocks one by one until his small hooves were badly blistered. A thick, iron-reinforced door finally completed the impenetrable fortress, just as the orange sun dipped below the distant horizon. The following morning, the terribly bloated wolf waddled confidently up the manicured garden path. He fully expected to enjoy another effortless morning snack. Banging his heavy gray fist against the iron hinges, the predator boldly ordered the third little pig to yield the entrance. Safe within his solid masonry, the clever pig swore by the hair of his chinny chin chin that the dangerous beast would never cross his threshold. Enraged by the sudden defiance, the monster promised to huff and puff and blow the miserable house straight down into the dirt. A truly mighty storm blew violently from the creature's gaping throat. The ancient trees bent completely backwards, and the loose dirt stripped rapidly away from the front yard. Yet the sturdy brick house stood perfectly still against the roaring tempest. The monster drew an even larger breath, his dark eyes bulging with immense physical strain, and unleashed a second furious gale. Not a single crimson brick shifted from its dried mortar. He aggressively huffed, and he angrily puffed until his weak knees shook with profound exhaustion. The sturdy red walls remained absolutely impenetrable. The monster's dark lungs burned from the failed assault. Before we see how the clever pig survives his next wicked trick, join our community so you won't miss out. Realizing that sheer brute force had utterly failed, the predator wisely switched to cunning deception. He sweetly informed the pig about a lovely field of ripe turnips at a nearby farm, suggesting a joint gathering at exactly 6 o'clock. The hidden pig cheerfully offered his joyful agreement to the morning plan. Knowing the villain's true dark intentions, the smart little creature woke up at 5 instead. He quickly harvested a massive basket of fresh turnips and returned to his fortress long before the angry beast arrived at the empty green field. Furious but pretending to be entirely unfazed, the trickster returned to the brick house the very next day. He casually mentioned a magnificent apple tree in the merry garden,
don't you?
subtly proposing a new meeting at 5 o'clock. The exceptionally diligent pig woke at 4 and hurried straight to the distant orchard. Climbing the tall, twisting branches took far longer than he had originally anticipated. Just as he plucked the finest glowing red apples, the horrifying silhouette of the wolf appeared directly below the tree. Frantic panic gripped the young forager for a fleeting, terrible moment. Would he become a tragic morning feast
I see
after
you up
all?
there, little pig.
I breathe.
The clever pig swallowed his fear and quickly regained his calm composure.
All is well.
Come closer.
He cheerfully
and take
offered the
bite of
beast
this
a taste of a
delicious
truly magnificent, sweet apple. Without waiting for an answer, the young pig hurled the heavy red fruit as far away as physically possible. The endlessly greedy monster sprinted across the grassy orchard to chase down the rolling prize. Seizing the golden opportunity, the brave little pig scrambled down the rough bark and ran safely all the way home. The final treacherous trap was set at the Grand Shanklin Fair. The predator politely invited his prey to attend the bustling market at 3 o'clock that sunny afternoon.
I must
Following
reach the
his
fair,
highly
no
successful
matter how
usual
steep
strategy,
the hill.
the pig departed 2 full hours early. He purchased an
Pushing a
incredibly
churn up a
large
hill is
wooden
no
butter
easy
churn
feat.
and began his long journey back down the steep dirt hill. Suddenly, he spotted the familiar gray beast marching directly up the narrow path. There was absolutely no time to safely turn around.
I must
The
get in
desperate
there.
pig quickly climbed inside the round wooden churn to hide himself from view. A sudden, unexpected shift in weight tipped the heavy barrel forward. The solid wooden churn began rolling rapidly down the steep, rocky incline. It gained terrifying speed, bouncing violently and loudly over twisted roots and jagged stones. The loud, chaotic rumbling noise and the strange spinning wooden object absolutely terrified the approaching wolf. Believing a terrible forest demon was charging down the hill to crush him, the coward turned his tail and sprinted deeply away into the dense thicket. The incredibly dizzy pig rolled safely all the way to his sturdy front door. Humiliated and starving beyond reason, the predator returned to the brick house one final, desperate time. He marched onto the clay tile roof with genuine murderous intent. The beast announced his dark plan to descend the chimney to finish the hunt once and for all. Hearing the heavy claws scraping against the inner brickwork, the quick-thinking brother rushed to the stone hearth. He hastily built a roaring, crackling fire directly beneath a massive iron pot filled to the brim with water.
I must reach it.
The dark masonry passage amplified the terrifying sound of the descending monster.
Now for the prize.
The water began to bubble furiously, sending thick white steam shooting up the narrow flue. A heavy, sickening splash echoed through the quiet kitchen
help.
as the beast
Get me
plummeted
outta here.
straight into the
It's
boiling
hot,
cauldron.
So hot.
You shouldn't
The
have
clever
messed with
pig
my house.
instantly slammed the heavy iron lid tightly over the top
Hope
of
you
the
enjoy
pot.
the stew, Wolf.
The terrible threat was finished. he permanently secured his hard-fought victory and enjoyed a deeply peaceful, quiet evening by the warm hearth. Taking the time to build a strong foundation will always protect you against the fiercest storms. True security is ultimately earned through careful patience and unwavering hard work.